just because something is common doesn't mean that it's normal. So it's common as we age for people to accumulate aches and pains or hormone imbalances or fatigue or whatever it might be, but that does not mean that it's normal. So something that I like to say is we have to stop settling for less than what we deserve when it comes to our health and happiness, right? It's like, I'm settling. Like if you're just dealing with the aches and pains or whatnot, you're settling. You're not living your life to the fullest capacity that's probably available to you and that all of us deserve to have too, by the way.
Yes.
And so one of the things that really brings that to light, a tool that I use is the intake forms or the written assessments. So I have clients go through a very thorough intake process when they start working with me, and it actually is a scoring system. So it's asking them about all of these things that they would never consider to be a symptom. Like, do you have sensitivity to light? You know, do you feel wired but tired at nighttime? You know, do you have a sensitivity to chemical smells? Or, you know, do you find that the outer third portion of your eyebrow is thinning? And so it gets them to start like paying attention to these little things that they probably have just been, you know, sweeping under the table for a long time. And then we get a score. And we can see, like, it's basically a symptom score. Like, here's all the symptoms that you have that you've written off just because they're common. But this is an indication of how your body is being affected by the dysfunction that's probably going on internally. And then it's great because then we can use that as a baseline as we start to work together. We do some of the functional testing. We implement the lifestyle changes and strategies to improve their health. I'll have them redo those assessments and they can see their score. And I can see people move from like a total symptom value of like 400 down to 100, or I've seen people get down to 25.
Nice.
And I'm the same way as you, Amy. I mean, before I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I had like already kind of recouped my health once, you know, from just being a 20-something-year-old eating crappy food, like drinking, like college, burning the, you know, candle at both ends. Like I basically sacrificed my health to pursue my career and all those things. And then I found the functional diagnostic nutrition program and I got a handle on all of that. Mm-hmm. Well, then we had toxic mold in our house and diagnosed Hashimoto's and estrogen dominance, and the mold hit me. And I was like, you know, moving through healing that. And I never would have been somebody that said that I had brain fog. Like I wrote a blog about this, that I didn't know I had brain fog until I was out of it. Because I was just a high functioning, high performing individual all the time. But it wasn't until I actually got out of the fog that I could look back and go, oh my God, I totally used to have brain fog, because now I'm even more high performing and clear minded than I've ever been. Right?
That's so true. You know, my entire adult life, I was always told I had a high stress job. You know, a lot of the things that I suffered with as an adult, you know, I was told by doctors, it's this, this, and this. And because I was living in that stress day in and day out, I had no idea what it felt like not to have stress until I didn't. And it was like, oh my gosh, you know, and honestly, you do have to get to the other side of it. It's just getting that person to be willing to get to the other side of it, that we don't have to settle. You know, just like when we were kids and listening to my mom, now if all the kids are jumping off a cliff, are you going to too? You know, it's like, well, no. Well, you know, it's just like, ladies, you know, here in the United States, we have the worst menopause symptoms of any nation out there. And so it's not normal for us it's normal to go through menopause. Absolutely. It's inevitable. We're going to go through it, but we don't have to go through it at the severity that we are experiencing it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that there's as I have talked about, is like getting through it gracefully, you know, like, wouldn't it be nice just to get through it gracefully? It doesn't have to be this awful, you know, thing. And I just think in general too, like us as women, Everything about our menstrual cycle and our hormones has this like, red flag to it
Oh,
that it's like this demon of things that we have to deal with. And really, like, when you learn to embrace it, I mean, that's been a huge part of my healing journey. I was on birth control for 17 years. And
mm,
I talk about how it almost was like an addiction, because it was, to be able to survive in a man's world as a successful female, it was a control feature. Like,
mhm.
I could control my emotions. I can control when I got my period if I didn't want it. So I could just keep pushing through all the time. And I really have had to work on healing that relationship with my body and embracing the feminine side of me and my feminine parts and all that they do for us. And when you do, it actually is easy. Like, we don't have to have painful periods or, horrible menopausal, experiences either.